Yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah. Yeah. Look, Wrestling 101, classes in session. Pay attention to the teachings that's from Andrew and Derrick. I mean, these guys making a killing with no competition. Dynamic duo better than the Hardy Boys and the Dudley Boys. Everybody make some noise. Mess with them, you get destroyed. They cannot be beat. Take a seat. Watch them do their thing on the MIC. Face defeat. They cannot be seen like JC. Oh my goodness, it's in killing spree. Yeah?
Welcome back, guys, to another episode of Wrestling IQ 101. You know me, my name is Derrick on behalf of Wrestling IQ 101. You can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, at Wrestling IQ 101. Check us out, iTunes, YouTube, wherever you get all your streaming needs. Just search Wrestling IQ 101 as well. Today, very special day. Got a very special guest with me. Someone I look to as a mentor, someone that's definitely a role model for me in the podcasting world. Ty Asbury from Talk Between the Ropes Media. Ty, how you doing today, bro? How's everything?
D-Flav, what's up, my brother?
You know, man, everything is good. Everything is good. You know, it's always good when we get together. I get to talk to you, man. How's everything going for you? I know I'm trying to stay busy like all of us, right?
Yeah, I'm still trying to do just like you said, trying to just stay busy on podcasting and just like the rest, all of us, in wrestling podcasting, just trying to build my brand and just stay busy, man.
Yeah, definitely. So we know you do Talk Between the Ropes, amazing show that I like to listen to. I'm one of your top fans, as you know.
Yeah, I got you on that too. I try to write something out about that.
Yeah, definitely. I love your show. Love what you do for sure. What was it that made you want to get into the podcasting world? You know, I know my reasons for it, but for you personally, like what was those reasons for you?
Well, first and foremost, definitely would be being, of course, a wrestling fan, and the fact that now today you have like so many things you can make. You could do a podcast out of your shed. I mean, everything's so convenient now. But probably the biggest reason why I got into wrestling podcasting was, of course, because of my grandfather, who was always like that father figure to me. He loved wrestling, and once he got me into wrestling, I was absolutely hooked into getting into wrestling podcasting. Outside the fact that I went to school for radio, liking wrestling, like my mom said, dude, you like wrestling, you got the radio background, like just put it all together. And so here I am, and pretty much that's it. And a lot of people don't know, is a bonus, is actually I had a cousin who was actually in the wrestling. So, but he was like, he wasn't a star, but he was like, he got beat up by the top guys, which we call a jobber in wrestling. So wrestling's been a thing for my family for a long time.
Nice. Yeah. I know we relate in that way where our grandfathers both put us on to, you know, the wrestling business. What would you say what would you say is the basis of your show? Like what do you want fans to get from your show, or the type of experience that your show creates for them?
First and foremost is just to have fun and laugh and cry. I mean, and any show. I mean, I've had guests, they teared up about how they fought to do a good show. Actually, I had Thunder Rose on, and she got emotional about how she's had it tough to get over to the U.S. and get into wrestling. And actually, I cried with her. And just to have fun and really say, like, Ty really puts the effort into his shows. And Derrick, I know you know as well that podcasting, it's not easy, from booking the guests to writing the show to promoting. Dude, you know how it is. It is not the easiest thing in the world, but we love it. And I just want my fans just to get a solid understanding that they can come back to my show again, because they know they're going to get a really good wrestling podcast show.
Yeah, definitely. And you definitely do a good job at doing that for sure. For you, I know you said, your grandfather, he put you onto wrestling. How were those experiences? What was like that first big thing for you that drew you into wrestling and, just made you fall in love with it?
Actually, it's funny as you talk about that, Derrick. because when I first started watching wrestling with him, it's like it was grown people in tights, running around in a big, square with 4 poles and 3 ropes. I'm like, I don't understand it. But as I started to watch it more with my grandfather, I was hooked. And then it took me to go to my first wrestling event, SummerSlam 90, get the Spectrum, do first ever pay-per-view in Philly. I was hooked right there. Like it was, but even before that, when I was a kid, we watched WrestleMania 4, 5, 3. He just like your grandfather. I was hooked, man.
Yeah, definitely. I can definitely see that. For you, how do you think you have progressed? Let's say since you did your first episode and you came on to where you are now. I know me. I'll tell you, I sucked at the beginning. I go back and listen to some of that stuff. I'm like, Jesus, I can't even believe people were actually talking to me and doing shows with me. But how do you think you progressed from that time to where you are right now?
Steve Flay, dude. I think I noticed my transition into getting bigger because I used to do my shows on Blog Talk Radio, and I started to notice I was seeing a fan base. But my wife said, "Dude, why don't you try to not do? There's nothing wrong with doing your shows live. There's nothing wrong with that. It can be tricky."
Yeah.
But my wife said, "Dude, just take your shows, record them, and then air them later. Try Facebook." And I've noticed as I've started airing my shows on Facebook for the Ropes Media, I started to see my fan base, grow. You of course being my number one fan, my fan base has grown since I left Blog Talk Radio. So I'm just trying to, as I think as wrestling podcasters, we always think about new stuff. We're watching how our brand is building, and since I've gone to Facebook watch party, I noticed a huge difference. But dude, Derrick, my first show, I'm sure same as you and everybody who's a wrestling podcaster, I'm sure would agree. It's like my show was going on like 6 or 7, and it's like, putting the headset on, getting ready, and I'm like, I can't believe I'm doing this because I did on Blog Talk goes live. I'm about to go freaking live with this, and actually my first show, the original guest I was supposed to have, canceled on me like 3 minutes before I was supposed to go on live.
Oh man,
I'm like, crap. So good thing my cousin came through. He's a big wrestling fan. He came on, and we just went off a hook and just whatever came to us, we did it. And I think you could probably agree there. I think once you do a couple of shows, you can just relax and just chill out. And you have to be at some point you have to be comfortable and be on the air after a while. But I think it's different with everybody.
Yeah, no, definitely. Definitely, I think after a while you get that groove going, and you get real comfortable with it, and it's the preparation, man. I see like a lot of people, like I know like you, and our podcast group. I know Rob, Miranda, Stephanie. I know you guys all put the preparation in just like I do. Like you do the research, you get the notes ready. And I think that's what makes it a lot easier too. That's half the nervousness right there is what are you going to ask? What are you going to say? Just putting it together. I think once you get that accomplished, that's like half the battle right there. And you're like just good to go with everything.
I must say, I've been following our second block party that we did, and everybody watched that too. It's on, of course, Facebook Watch Party. Watch on the Ropes Media. I got to say, Derrick, we killed a second one, and that's starting to be our new thing. And like I said before, you guys are starting to be like my podcast, Wrestling Family, because we all in our group message on Facebook, we all talk like each other every day. Yeah. And I know, of course, Stephanie with her mom with the COVID thing, we all reached out to her, but you guys are incredible people, and just like me, you guys share the same passion for wrestling, podcasting, and wrestling. And I like I said, I can't be more blessed than to have you guys around. I'm glad we've all connected the way we have.
Yeah, definitely. It's always dope to have that support system with you for sure. For you now, I know you said you have a fan experience coming up soon, right? Tell me about the fan experience. What's it going to be? How fans can get involved? How they can be a part of it?
Well, the fan experience is will be like virtual meet and greets. That's what wrestling has pretty much come to because of COVID. But the fan experience is like pretty much on Zoom, and you get to ask the wrestler guest a question, whatever question you want to ask him. I mean, about a debut match, favorite feud. You ask them a question. You also get a free link to the show, share on social media. You can win signed 8x10 of the guest. And of course, coming up, of course, January 30th, my first ever one is with Justin Credible. And then I'm actually working with doing another one in February with Thunder Rosa. So I always like to throw something at the wall and see what sticks. I mean, to a wrestling podcast, I believe it's okay to do the same thing, but you have to tweak it. It's whether it's like you do rap and wrestle. I love that. That was a really, really awesome stuff what you're doing. I love your logo, what you do for your new podcast. But the fan experience, ask the wrestler a question, and you can win a free 8x10, share it on social media. And I mean, tickets are cheap. I mean, for the Justin Credible, they're only like $10, and you can't beat that. We know Justin Credible, WWE, ECW. I mean, the guy is also as well is a legend. We all grew up watching him. And then also same thing with Thunder Rosa. We know what she's doing. That chick don't sleep. Thunder Rosa is like everywhere. But that's what the fan experience is. And I just hope it's a success. And I'm trying to work at it more. And just like what we all do, wrestling podcasting, is just building your brand.
Yeah, no, definitely for sure. If people want to buy tickets for that, how would they get tickets for it?
If you go on, of course, the Roast Media on Facebook, it's posted everywhere, and you see the link. It'll take you to tickettailor.com, and boom, the page is right there, and you order your tickets. Just a simple click and buy. Yeah,
awesome. It can't beat that, man. Justin Incredible. Original ECW legend. Like you said, WWE, a lot of great moments he created in ECW and WWE as well. Definitely a great buy for only $10, man. That's a great deal. Definitely should do that for sure. What would you say if you could give advice? Because we know there's tons of people who podcasting has become like the thing now because it's so easy to get a show started. So what would you give as advice to someone so that they can kind of get on the right track and, do it the right way?
The biggest thing is that you have to be yourself. I mean, I think you can. I think when we're on the air doing podcasts, we're kind of, some people do a gimmick and some people they be themselves. I always say, if you want to do a gimmick, that's fine. But the important thing is is to be yourself if you want to do a podcast. But I think that the one thing I hate doing it as well, you always have to record yourself and listen to yourself because we all know video, audio, there's always something that you can improve. And we learn every day. I'm still learning podcasting. And also, just listen to yourself when you play back your stuff. And one thing I always think that helps too, some people may have it, some people don't. If you don't have it, that's fine, but you have to keep working at it. Have, some background in communications, but you don't necessarily need that. But the biggest thing is that you have to believe in yourself. You have to be comfortable on the air. That's a big thing there. You know that too, because people, they can listen and they can tell you're a nervous wreck. I mean, first couple of shows I did, my sister said, dude, you were like really nervous. I was like, well, yeah. I mean, it's like my first show that I did, but best advice is simple. Be yourself. You have to train yourself, criticize yourself, and we don't like to do that. And always pretty much never stop learning because, you want to have to. And that's probably the best advice I would give. And the number one thing we talked about this there too is that I think wrestling podcasting, there are sometimes like setbacks where, we all know wrestlers they don't get back to you, which is hard. That's the hardest thing is that getting guests on, and you know that as well. Yeah. And you can't beat yourself up about that because I have too. It's like, man, this guest never got back to me. I've reached out to them, they're on this show, and it's like, what the heck? Yeah. But you just have to keep grinding and then fighting, because wrestling podcasting, dude, it's not gonna come easy. And that's the advice I would give to people who want to get into this now profession, like you said, and what we do.
Yeah, no, definitely. It's definitely it's a lot of hard work, and you know, it may not seem like it seems like it's something that's just so easy, but it's like it's really a lot of hard work into it. And just like you said, man, we all have them ups and downs where it's like, oh man, you just got to get through those bumps. And geez, the editing. Oh my, when you edit, oh, I don't know about you, man, but it's like I hate sometimes when I go back and like hear your voice. I don't know. It's like you think it sounds okay, but for you, it always sounds weird because it's like it doesn't sound like it sounded in your head. But you know, that's the part I'm learning to get over. And I'm starting to enjoy my interviews now, if that makes any sense. I'm starting to actually enjoy the way I'm talking, the way I'm presenting, and like, you know, just the conversation and the flow of it. I just think it's a lot better. So I think that's a big key thing, is just like getting over that, like, oh man, my voice, I don't want to hear it back. You'll actually enjoy like listening to yourself.
And actually, you brought up a lot of good points. What you may not like about your work, your wife, family, kids, they may like it like this, and you're like, really? And I'm Derrick, dude. I'm just like you. I go back and listen to my shows, and it's like, man, but for some reason, somehow, some way, people enjoy my voice. They enjoy what you do. But the one thing I really wanted to talk to, actually, I forgot, I want to bring about podcasting, is I always believe that you want to top what you did last time, even being better than what you did before. Me, I'm not really big on asking the same questions all the time. I like to try to mix stuff up. And, you know, I've had wrestlers where I throw them questions and they're like, wow, that's really good. Because I know some wrestlers, they don't like oh, what year did you debut? Well, you can go online and see when they debut.
Yeah.
From what I've learned by doing this for so long, having guests on my shows, wrestlers, they kind of like that challenge, and they don't like the same old stuff. And you have to keep them on like that kind of cliff and really say, wow, they really know their stuff. But like you said, the voice thing, you may be ahead of me. I'm still working on that same time, man. But yeah, we're all doing something right. So, and that's a blessing to hear that from all of our fans.
Yeah, definitely. You know, the funny thing, like out of our group, you know, I feel like you and Stephanie have like the best voices out of all of us. I love your voice. I love Stephanie's voice. I think you guys have the best voice out of all of us. And that's one of those things, like you said, like, yeah, I don't like it, but look, like, I enjoy it.
Well, I got to say that when actually this was here, when I went to radio school, I actually teared up. My teacher said my first sign up for courses, and the way I did in radio school, we'd had to do a radio show, and they would, you know, critique it, grade it, and everything. And my instructor, his name was Ron, real good guy. He heard my voice, and he was like, dude, I love your voice. And I always say, I don't know what it is. I get compliments on it. I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but I get compliments on it a lot. I don't know what it is, but you know, I'm blessed that God gave me the voice to do what I do. But like you said, for our podcast block party, I think all you guys are fantastic, but in a different way. Like, I mean, like I say, you're the chill guy. Stephanie's really chill and laid back. I think Miranda's like kind of like the firecracker and everything. And Rob's that's why I call him rock solid. Rob's is solid. But honestly, for me, that's why I said we're all great in our own way, but I still say probably that, like, we all, it's just like when I hear all you guys talk, it's just something special about each and every individual person. To me, like we're like, you guys all just kill it out because you all guys have different skills in what you do and whatever you bring to your shows. Everybody's different. I think that's why we all gel really good. And but like I said, for you to actually say that compliment about my voice, I really appreciate that, man.
Yeah, definitely. I think we're the first faction of podcasting. I think all of us together.
I think we should all talk about it on our Facebook group. I think we should create a T-shirt like for all of us or something.
Word, right? All of us on it. I think that'll be dope, man. That'd definitely be dope. So today is funny. I was on Facebook and I was thinking about this this post that I made today, and I saw it from my friend too, because my friend's he's big into like Dragon Ball Z. He has like tons of tattoos, and tattoos can get expensive over a while. So yeah, tattoos. We all have our things that we're into. So like for me, I'm in wrestling, and it can be expensive being a wrestling fan sometimes, because we start collecting, we start doing all these things. And my post was one of our biggest nightmares is for our wife or our girlfriends to find out how much we actually spend on these hobbies. So for you, are you a collector or anything? Me, I'm big into figures. I collect figures. I collect belts. Those are my two things for sure that I love to do. What about you?
And you're absolutely so right. If you're not a wrestling fan, you don't collect stuff. See, me, for my studio, I got turnbuckle pads and ring ropes behind me. So yeah, I actually, somehow, some way, I think I'm strange. Like, the only time I've collect wrestling stuff is just toys, but I really love to collect. I'm always on eBay looking at them. There's actual wrestling posters of old events that happened back in the day. I love collecting like the old school wrestling posters. They could be like Survivor Series 90 or whatever, but I love collecting those old flyers from back in the day. I mean, I've seen some on eBay from wrestling back in the like 50s and 60s, and that's like history right there. But I remember I joked to my wife a few times that I told her, I was like, baby, I've been looking on eBay. I'm seeing some wrestling rings for sale. She was like, oh no, you better not. So
oh man, I can only imagine, man. I'll be the same way. I'm on eBay, I'm on Amazon, I'm looking at belts, and I'm like, oh man, do I really want to spend $300 on a belt? It's like, oh man, but it's so crazy, man. It's one of those things, like, you gotta hide the receipts, man, and hope you get the box before they get it when it gets delivered.
But I gotta say, the one thing that, I mean, we all have unique things that we like. You're not human if you're not weird. I'd say it this way. But the one thing in wrestling I've always had an infatuation with, because I think they're cool looking. They go through punishment to hold all the action actually in wrestling. I've always been a big fan of wrestling rings. There's something about rings that I've always been into. Like all wrestling rings, you find different WWE, like, the big 20 by 20, 18, whatever. But I've always been a big fan of wrestling rings. And I remember when I was a kid, I got my grandma to make me some turnbuckle pads. So I've always had that infatuation. Like, man, they hold these guys up, and it's just like, you got to give the wrestling ring, credit too. So
yeah, no, definitely. For you, I'll ask this. I'm always curious. I wonder when people decide to get in the wrestling business, and like, we've gotten to podcasting. Did you ever have any aspirations or any dreams to actually be a wrestler? I know that was like one of my things I used to think about way, but I was like, nah, and I settled for podcasting. What about you?
Definitely. Yeah, when I was in high school, the dream was to graduate high school, of course, go to wrestling school and college, because they always say have something to fall back on. Yeah. But I always wanted to be a wrestler. I had names picked out. I mean, I wanted to be Total Business. It was kind of like a knockoff of Mr. Perfect. I would have called myself Mr. All That, like I was all that. Yeah. That was the name I had. I wanted to use T Love. I had to the Love Vets come out with me. Oh yeah, dude, I had like everything like laid out.
You had it planned out already, man.
I had it all planned out, and I would always envision storylines I would have like with a certain wrestler. And I think, I had so many names that I had, but the biggest one was Total Business. someone's like, oh, come out with a briefcase. And I'm like, nah, just a, like kind of like Austin, a badass, come out, beat people up and leave. But yeah, I've always just, had that thing. But honestly, I like you. I never wanted to actually looking at what they go through in the ring. I respect the hell out of wrestlers. Don't matter, independent, pros, whatever. Because people say, well, indie wrestling. But I tell people, indie wrestling is right in pro wrestling. They go through the grind just like WWE and of course AEW. But for me, I still got that itch to maybe do some wrestling commentating. I don't know where, but I still want to maybe get in that some fashion. So, if I can't, I'm really short. So if I can't use the shortness, then maybe I'll just put the headset on behind the table or something.
Yeah, no, I think that would be dope. I think you would definitely do good at that. Shout out to Rob. Rob does that. He just had his debut, and he was doing that as well. He did a great job at it. So I think YouTube, that would be perfect for you guys. I always thought I also think I would like to do like managing. I think that would be fun. It's like, so I don't really got I could take a bump here and there, but I get to talk junk. You just get to be yourself, talk junk to the crowd. I want to be a heel manager too. I don't want to be no nice guy. I want to be a bad guy. I want to talk crap to everybody. I think it would be just amazing. I would love to do that.
But yeah, like you said, I mean, you kind of got that itch to get into managing. Have you really thought about that? Maybe reached out to some schools, or you like networking, or is that something you're really considering? Or
I think I might do it. I'm gonna see, man. I was gonna see. I got some friends. I was gonna say, yo, what do you think about this? How can I do this? And we'll see. Come up with some ideas, and let's see if this could happen. That's what we're gonna do for since the year is coming to a close. This is what we're gonna do right here for 2021. I'm gonna get into managing, and you're gonna get into the commentating somehow. We're gonna make it happen for 2021. That's gonna be the year we're gonna make things happen.
Yeah, because I mean, we all know 2020 has been insane, and we definitely want to start out 2021 with good. He's gonna put his flavor into managing, and I'm gonna be behind at the commentating table with the headset on. And I really, for the last few years, I've been thinking about making some demo reels and sending them out to, I don't know, WWE. I mean, maybe like somewhere lower. I mean, I thought about like Ring of Honor or maybe even Impact. But I say this to one person, I've told her this on our show. She's really got the whole announcing thing going on as Miranda. She's really got that going on.
Yeah, Miranda, she's perfect at that, man. She does the ring announcing. She's like, she does everything. You talk about MVP right there. She's like the LeBron James of like podcasting, because she literally does everything. There's nothing she can't do in it.
She has done everything, and we're all busy. Rob's doing this thing, Miranda, Stephanie, you are. But like I said though, I'm proud of all you guys. But like Stephanie, like she's the one that's been doing it less than where we have. We've been doing this for a long time. And I really like the fact that she stuck with it. I know she was down there. Because she said to all of us, I don't know if I want to do it anymore. The views ain't there, this and that. And that, I think that's just the way of the nature how it works. You may not get views on this certain show you did this show, but I still think we're all doing this for a purpose. We all want to get somewhere, because you're in something to get better at it, and reach that high ladder pedestal. It could be anything, but wrestling podcasts, and we all want to get better and take our brand somewhere.
Yeah, no, that's definitely for sure. For you, I know this is kind of hard if somebody would ask me this, because I've done so many. But for you, do you have a favorite episode or favorite interview that you have done? Is there anybody that you're just like, oh man, this one was just so amazing?
Oh man,
I know that's tough, right?
Derrick, I'm sitting there, it's like it's kind of crickets right now, because we've all done so many. I'm sure you get asked that. It's like, man, I have to say, oh man, I'll probably say that I'm gonna go back a couple of years ago, and the two that I've done, I've had her on my show twice now. Love to do a third show with her, Casey Carlisle. She's like a legend on the independent scene. So probably the two I did with her, but I got to say the one that I think that got me over that hump is the two that I've done with Terry Runnels. But the D-Flame, dude, there's so many of them. Like I don't know who else, because we've done like so many of these freaking interviews. So, but Casey Carlisle is definitely up there.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I think they all have a special meaning to us for sure. I'll ask my last question and then we'll wrap it up. Do you have any other talents or hobbies outside of wrestling that your fans wouldn't normally know that you have?
I would probably say that I'm not going to say it's I'll say it's a talent. The one thing I'm really good at, it drives my wife crazy. I'm really good at reciting lines from movies. It drives her nuts, but I'm really good at reciting lines. Like I'll watch, me and her watched with Denzel Washington, Equalizer. I repeated like the whole movie, and she looked at me. She's like that's insane. She looked at it. That's really insane. But one thing that fans don't know about me, I'm a huge Three Stooges fan. So.
Oh man, nice. That's classic right there. I'm more I Love Lucy, man. That's me from that time.
Actually, speaking of I Love Lucy, I watched that too. Speaking of I Love Lucy, I did a podcast. I'll never forget. I did a podcast a few years ago, and I had my notes, my intro written out. It was an audio podcast. So I said something along the lines of, if you don't listen to this episode of Between the Ropes Radio, it's going to be like, I love Lucy. Lucy, you got something explaining to do. Yeah. And so I did that. I thought my mom was like, dude, I love that. That intro you did. So because she listened to it and said a few days later. I was like, Mom, I do watch Lucy. I was like, it just came off the fly. And that's the thing about podcasting is try to get creative. I mean, it don't work, put it away and don't use it again. But I always say in podcasting, it doesn't hurt to try new things. It really doesn't. Because you don't want to do the same thing. Because wrestling fans, I still think wrestling fans get bored real easily. So in wrestling podcasting, you really have to try new things. Because I'm always listening to different shows. And there's some shows, I'm not a big fan of it, but there's some shows that are like 2 hours. And I either do half hour to an hour, and that's it. So.
Yeah. Sometimes it's kind of tough for, get people to listen to you when they don't know you like that. So it's kind of hard. But, Ty, man, it's always great to connect with you, man. I definitely appreciate you taking this time out, coming on the show, letting the fans get a little insight into who you are behind the show, If fans want to follow you, listen to the show, how would they do that?
If you want to watch any show from the Ropes Media, Between the Ropes Radio, Talk Between the Ropes, I'm airing a new special. It is actually called 15 Minutes and Over. I'll explain that once the show airs. That'll be on there. Of course, I got the fan experience coming up. You can check everything from my brand on the Ropes Media on Facebook. Also, if you want to follow me on Twitter, at the Ropes Media on Twitter as well. I always say to everybody, thanks for supporting your boy Ty Asbury and support this guy, D-Flave, too.
Definitely appreciate that. Definitely make sure you check out the fan experience. What's the date on that one more time? So we can let everybody know.
It is with Just Incredible. It is, of course, January 30th, 3 o'clock, 4 p.m. We'll be on Zoom, and then the episode airs like way later on. So definitely, like I said, go on the Ropes Media page, see the poster, see the link, tickettailor.com. Go and get your tickets, $10. That's it. Early Christmas present. You want to buy it from somebody, but you definitely do not want to miss first ever fan experience with Justin.
Nice. Definitely. Make sure you do that. I'll definitely repost that for you and make sure people get up on that and take advantage of this great experience. For me, you can definitely follow me at Rap and Wrestle. We're talking about Rap and Wrestle now. See, I'm thinking about that. This is Wrestling IQ 101. Follow us at Wrestling IQ 101. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Definitely check us out on all your streaming platforms, on YouTube. All you gotta do is search Wrestling IQ 101 and all of our interviews will pop up. We got a lot of great interviews. This one, including all of our past great interviews. Make sure you subscribe, make sure you follow, make sure you retweet, all that good stuff. And for this episode, it's Derrick for Wrestling IQ 101, Ty, Asbury, The Ropes, Media. Make sure you check us out. Peace.